people, I'm Tim Ulmer, and I'm your host for Epilepsy Gangster. Now, I have been a bitter enemy of Epilepsy Gangster since he caused my first seizure when I was 2 years old, and I'm 60 now. Epilepsy Gangster is like all criminals in the fact that their biggest fear is when people are informed and knowledgeable about them. So my strongest weapon is to acquaint you with members of my gang who are living happy, productive, and socially active lives despite the fact that they have epilepsy, but epilepsy does not have them. If this is your first time, please subscribe and leave a like, and in the meantime, let the show begin. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very excited about today's show, coming to you from Paris, France for the first time. Guy Stoker's epilepsy began when he was a child, and doctors warned his parents never to expect anything of him. Well, it turns out that music was in his DNA, and he's become a professional musician and done quite well all over the world. In addition, he's very talented in contemporary art. It's been an objective of his to try to bring caregivers, family, friends, and others that don't have epilepsy into the epileptic experience. And he's done that by compositions of music along with digital art. We hope that you'll be fascinated by the artistic works and hope you enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, this is really exciting because I have never interviewed somebody from continental Europe, as in the city of Paris. And so, welcome to you, Guy.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet you.
You originally came from the UK. How long have you been in Paris?
About 8 years now.
And any plans to move back?
One day, who knows? It's always possible, but I'm over here for now.
Guy, please tell us how the Epilepsy Gangster came into your life.
Well, the Epilepsy Gangster came into my life from day one, which was June 24th, 1975, in Ashington, Northumberland, which is in the northeast of England. Since that time, I had seizures and seizure-like activity for many, many years. Sometimes at home, sometimes at school, sometimes at work, various different things, and it really did interfere greatly with my life. But what made mine difficult to pin down was it wasn't one kind of seizure that I was getting. I had 8 different kinds of seizure over that time. 8 different kinds of seizure. So they wouldn't just be absent seizures, they wouldn't just be focal aware seizures, they wouldn't just be focal impaired seizures, they wouldn't just be tonic-clonic seizures, which are of course the well-known ones. But in amongst that, I also had what sometimes is referred to as gelastic seizures, which is where you lose emotional control. So you can be laughing hysterically at nothing at all, and for no reason, and then within a few seconds you can be absolutely crying your eyes out again at nothing whatsoever. And it's an emotional yo-yo that you are aware of, but you have no control over. And the other interesting one, and this is what made me interesting to the doctors, is a form of seizure called T, as in the drink, which stands for transient epileptic amnesia. Now, when somebody has an episode of transient epileptic amnesia, they actually become aware that they've completely lost their memory altogether. That
you mean
yeah,
every memory up to that point?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
If it hit you today, I mean, there would go the 50 years of your life.
Well, certainly a good portion of it. I wouldn't know where I was.
Wow.
Even though I'm at home, I wouldn't know where I was. I most likely wouldn't recognize the people around me. If I was being taken to somewhere from here to see somebody, I wouldn't recognize my surroundings either. I would have no idea of how I got here in the first place. And that happened to me in Newcastle back in the 1990s when I was studying music and performing arts. I was waiting for my dad in the city library before he finished work. And I suddenly became aware that even though in reality I'd been there 3 and 4 times a week, every week for the college year, for more than one college year, all of a sudden I became aware that actually I didn't have the faintest idea where I was or what I was doing there, how I got there, what I was supposed to do next, anything at all. I was just aware that I'd completely lost my memory altogether.
Did it mean you lost your musical training?
Well, it wasn't. I wasn't actually playing at the time, so that wasn't really an issue at that moment because it's transient. So it tends to be that the next day you can remember forgetting.
Oh, okay.
But my dad drove me home, and he might as well have been driving me through downtown Chicago because I didn't recognize the surroundings at all. And my mom had called the doctor who was already there, and the doctor was asking me questions, and my answer to every question was, I don't know. And I said to my mom, I said, I need to go to the bathroom. And she said, okay. And I said, where is it? And this was my own home. I didn't know where the bathroom was in my own home. And the doctor said to me, she said, do you know anything at all? And I said, the only thing I know is that this person sitting beside me here is my mom. I said, other than that, no. And so I was admitted to hospital in Newcastle. And the following morning, I could vividly recall knowing nothing whatsoever.
We're aware that there's 41 variations of epilepsy, but I've never heard of that one. You're the first person I've connected with. That's got to be a frightening experience.
It was very frightening, yeah.
How often has that happened?
It only happened twice.
With so much of this going on, what were your expectations of having a productive life?
Very, very low. Very, very low. When I was a small child, my mom would take me to pediatricians, etc. And they told my mom, don't expect very much for him. He won't go to normal school. He most probably won't achieve very much. He might not actually live all that long either. And so our expectations of what I was going to achieve were pretty much rock bottom from very early on. And throughout the course of time, every time I would be hospitalized and be given fMRIs, MRIs, CAT scans, all the rest of it, EEGs, they would show nothing whatsoever. So there was no answer as to why I was having these episodes. I was having them, but no answer as to why. And obviously because of epilepsy, because of its very definition, the doctors weren't willing to say until they had the evidence right there in front of them, you have epilepsy.
Boy, it's amazing. Basically, since you had it since birth, that's about the time my treatment began, even though I started mine 10 years earlier than you. And that time in the United States, there were only 3 kinds, grand mal, petit mal, and psychomotor. that was that. I didn't know about yours is truly amazing. Please tell us when you began to get a grip on realizing that this epilepsy gangster could be defeated.
Well, that was actually quite a few years down the line, because I was diagnosed at the age of 28, not long after my marriage. But actually, it wasn't until several years later that we actually managed to find the right treatment and the right variation and dosage of the right medication. Because as anybody who lives with the experience of epilepsy will know, the diagnosis is only the beginning of the journey. Then it's a case of trial and error. What do we put this patient on? What are the side effects of that medication at that dose going to be? Are they going to control the seizures? But if they are, at what cost?
When you had seizures at such an early age, why couldn't a diagnosis of any kind be made until 28?
Because the test results showed nothing at all.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, the tests were showing zero. They were coming back perfectly normal.
One of my first EEGs at age 8 showed nothing even when I had one. So I guess I have put that aside, but I do know understand what you're talking about.
Yeah. And in 2013, I basically I was diagnosed as having had a nervous breakdown. And so my neurologist, Dr. Margaret Jackson, who had been the one who diagnosed me in the first place, she prescribed to me neuropsychology and neuropsychiatry simultaneously. And because of the troubling childhood that I'd had, there were an awful lot of demons in there to get out. And once they were out, once my head was empty of those demons and horrible experiences during childhood, my epilepsy, basically my seizures stopped completely. And I've been seizure free now since then. I've not had a single seizure since then.
How many years is that?
It's now coming up to 13 years.
Wow. Congratulations. Yeah. That's got to be so uplifting.
It's incredible. It really is absolutely incredible. To have gone from not knowing when the next seizure was going to be, whether or not I was going to actually come out of the next seizure, or if there was going to be something catastrophic happened during that seizure or anything like that, to having a life of being able to work, having a life of being able to travel, go to places, see things, engage with people and everything like that. I owe Margaret Jackson more than she will ever humanly possibly know.
I know once I was allowed to start driving 2 years ago, it was the first time in 33 years, and I actually felt like I had gotten out of prison.
Yes, absolutely. There had been times over my life where I'd lost my driving license as well. And when you go from being able to drive to not being allowed to drive, that's almost like somebody just cutting your legs off, essentially. Yeah. Because it's saying you're an adult, you're intellectually switched on, but you have to rely on somebody else to take you where you want to go, and it has to be okay for their timetable as well. That's
been the biggest difficulty in our household, is my wife has been the breadwinner, and a very tough job. People take it for granted how wonderful it is to be able to get into the car and go to a convenience store at 2:00 in the morning if you desire.
Absolutely.
Not that I've ever gone to a convenience store at 2 a.m., But
maybe you should.
knowing that I can do it is the achievement.
Yes. Maybe you should, just to experience it and say, yes, I can, as somebody we both know often says.
This is very interesting, but I need to take a moment to tell viewers about the Angels of Epilepsy. It's a nonprofit organization based here in Georgia, to which I've been a member of the advisory board for several years, and I'm quite proud of it. Angels of Epilepsy's mission is simple but powerful: to provide hope, education, advocacy, and direct assistance to those living with this often misunderstood condition. Even if epilepsy strikes all backgrounds and communities, many people are stuck with its stigma and financial hardship. Angels of Epilepsy works to bridge that gap by offering prescription and transportation assistance, educational resources, and support groups. Angels of Epilepsy works alongside community leaders and policymakers to ensure the voices of those impacted by epilepsy are heard and respected. If you want to learn more about its services or how you might participate, contact the address on the screen, angelsofelepsy.org. Please contact Angels of Epilepsy. And now let's return to our show. Well, tell us how you discovered music with all this going on, and how music became a weapon for you to use against the Epilepsy Gangster's depression.
Well, basically, I actually come from a musical family. My mother's grandfather was a famous brass band composer, conductor, and adjudicator, and his name was John Carr. And there are brass bands around the world who have played and recorded his music. And so I had a very high benchmark to aim for. And my father bought me an electric organ for my 7th birthday. And that was like my ticket to ride, as the song would say. You know, here was something that I was actually good at.
Yeah.
You know, nothing in math, science, history, geography, you name it, I was absolutely hopeless. But music, I could really, really nail it right from a very, very early age. And I've often talked to people about that, and they've said, oh, did your parents give you or get you piano lessons or whatever? And I said, no. And I said, the important thing is, I said, if somebody wants to learn, that is the key thing. If somebody has piano lessons or violin lessons or guitar lessons because their parents want them to, that is a whole different experience again. And I always said that if I'd said to my dad after 6 months, no, this isn't really for me, he would have just said, okay, well, you tried. But because I had such a close relationship with my dad, once I realized very, very quickly that this was something I was very good at, I could see how happy he was that I'd found something that I was very good at. So my drive was get better and better and better and better, and give him even more and more and more and more to be proud of.
Well, as pessimistic as the doctors had been of your prognosis from the start, did you and your parents start to find hope that you could become productive in society?
Yes, absolutely. And my big break, if you like, was when I was 17. I was accepted into music college for 5 years, and I basically flourished. I became the butterfly that was previously the caterpillar. I was meeting people who were like me, essentially, who wanted to do this thing called music, wanted to do this thing called composing, you know, and all the rest of it. And it was just superb. And basically that was a key turning point in my life, was music college in the 1990s. And I actually got my first professional job as a professional musician at the age of 17. And I've done it ever since. and it's where it's my happy place. Put me in front of 2 people or 2,000 people, I'm there. I'm absolutely on it. But it wasn't until university, when I was doing my master's in contemporary composition, that actually the relationship between music and epilepsy was born.
Really?
Yeah.
How so?
I attended the first international conference on music and emotion, which was at Durham University. It was a 3-day event. And on day 3, one of the speakers happened to mention musicogenic epilepsy, which is whereby the sole trigger of the seizure is actually music. And as a composer with epilepsy, I thought, you've just given me the golden ticket here to actually investigate something for my master's degree that actually brings the 2 biggest parts of my world together. And I found an expert in musicogenic seizures, which are a form of rare complex reflex epilepsy. His name is Dr. Peter Kaplan, and he's in Johns Hopkins in Baltimore. And I got in touch with him, and I've never been one for being backward in coming forward. There's a phrase for that in the northeast of England, which is shy bairns getting out, which basically means if you don't ask, you don't get. So I contacted Dr. Kaplan, and after about 3 emails, I said, is there any chance I could actually come out to Johns Hopkins and see you? And he said yes. And the following week, there I was at Johns Hopkins. And we met several times over the course of that week. And he said to me one day, he said, I'm busy writing a paper on musicogenic epilepsy for a symposium in Prague next year. And I said, I wish I could get to something like that. I said, because it would be the evidence base that would back up what I'm trying to say in my master's degree. And he was driving me back to the hotel, and I vividly remember this. He just turned to me and he said, okay, we'll write the paper together. And that was the birthplace of the last 16 years, essentially. So the conference or the symposium of the conference was on the use of music as a means, on the use of the arts as a means of non-verbal expression of experience of living with epilepsy. Now, if you look at literature, you'll find examples such as Alice in Wonderland. Mm-hmm. If you look at film, you'll find it represented in cinematography as well. If you look at sculptures, if you go back to visual art, you can fill 1,000 homes with visual epilepsy arts. But look for the musical equivalent and you will really, really struggle. And I thought, well, this is my perfect invitation as a composer who knows what it's like to live with epilepsy to actually fill in that gap. So,
well, wouldn't you say that Elton John and Prince have done great wonders for epilepsy?
they've certainly supported the epilepsy community, yes. And Elton John had seizures, yes, but it's never been confirmed whether those seizures were epileptic seizures or drug withdrawal seizures. But he does certainly support the epilepsy community, yes. But in comparison to other art forms, music as a representation of the epilepsy experience is minuscule. So that's the flag that I've been flying like crazy for the last 16 years. And I wrote an album, first of all, called Ictal Variations. Ictal is the medical term for any epileptic event.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought, well, if I want to explore something as broad and diverse and vast as epilepsy through one medium, I have to basically use every single tool in the box. So rather than it being always the 5 lines and 4 spaces, I looked at other composing mechanisms to use. So some of the compositions were based on my own EEG. Some of the compositions were using the Rubik's Cube as a score, and various things like that. And some of them were songs, some were instrumental tracks, some of them were what would be referred to as sound art. So I would take several tracks that I'd previously written, stack them all on top of each other, and play them backwards all at once.
That is simply amazing. May we hear what a seizure sounds like?
You certainly can. I have a website which is called purplechorus.com, and one of the pages of purplechorus.com includes links to my epilepsy-based music. So there you can find 2 of the 3 albums, one of which is Ictal Variations, and the track which I just described to you there about layering the tracks on top of each other and playing them all backwards is called Brainstorms. And the reason why I did that was because I wanted to convey a truly horrible experience through sound. And I thought there's no point in creating something which sounds beautiful if it's meant to convey a horrific experience. What I've always plugged on is the fact that the horrific experience is not only for the person who has the seizures, but it's actually often more horrific for the person who sees that seizure happening. The loved ones, the spouses, the siblings, the caregivers, the friends, etc. And they are the silent victims, really. And so through ictal variations, I wanted to kind of bring them out of the shadows as well, and say that epilepsy doesn't only affect the person who has a seizure. It doesn't look like one singular thing. It looks like lots of different things across time, across continents, across cultures. So therefore, in order to try and get a reasonable magnifying glass image, if you like, of something so vast and broad and diverse as not only the epilepsy, but the people across the world who live with it, the album had to be incredibly musically diverse. And that means some of it sounds nice, some of it sounds lovely, some of it sounds happy, some of it sounds sad, some of it just sounds absolutely horrible. So that was a really, really interesting experience to do that, and to be able to say to people, well, you might not understand if I say to you what an epileptic seizure is in terms of neurological terminology, but I can let you hear this, and then perhaps by listening to this, you will have a better handle on what I'm trying to put across to you.
Now, you also work at communicating those experiences with painting as well, if I understand.
Yes, I do. 4 years ago, I started creating digital abstract art. And it was using an app called Procreate. And the reason I used digital rather than physical paints, etc., was because I was working on a ship at the time, and I was living in a cabin, and we had cabin inspection every week. And I thought, if the cabin inspector comes in and there's paint all over my floor or the bedding or whatever, I'm not going to pass the cabin inspection. So plus that meant I could share my digital abstract work with anybody anywhere in the world at the touch of a button. I could be sitting off the coast of Norway or off the coast of South Africa or India or Indonesia or anywhere at all and just press share, and there the rest of the world could see what I'd just created. And of course, music and visual art are very much siblings with one another.
Some of your employment was on cruise ships.
It was, yeah.
Weren't you a little bit terrified about being away from home with the Epilepsy Gangster in pursuit?
No, never. No. It was something that I'd kind of taken the decision about right from a very early stage. So my philosophy has always been, if I wait for the Epilepsy Gangster to come back, I could actually end up doing nothing whatsoever with my life.
Well, please tell us how you started Purple Chorus.
It was actually following a conversation with an American actress and playwright and director called Sandra Cruz. And she's based in Southern California. And she'd written a musical called Abby Normal about her granddaughter who has quite profound epilepsy. And in the musical, one of the very, very interesting things that she'd done, which I'd never even considered before, was that she actually gave a first-person voice to the epilepsy itself. So as you've personified epilepsy as the Epilepsy Gangster, she actually handed the microphone essentially to the Epilepsy Gangster. And I thought that was a really intriguing thing to do. And I thought, I'm going to try that. So I wrote an album which was 10 songs. I stuck rigidly to song format this time, and wrote an album called Purple Universe. And the reason for it being called Purple Universe is because one of the epilepsy advocates who was on Instagram had described their neurons, all the 86 billion neurons, as being like a galaxy, a Milky Way, a universe, and that sort of solar system. And I thought, I really love that description. So I thought, I'm going to borrow that idea, those two ideas, and bring them together to create an album called Purple Universe.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's an example.
Now that I've found you, I'll never leave you. You always will belong to me. And like the wind now, the secret forest, the thing you know but cannot see. And when you're older, I'll tap your shoulder to remind you I'm still here.
Oh, that music is fascinating.
It is. And music is the perfect way to help people understand what they might not otherwise be open to listening to verbally. So if they take, for example, all of the songs in that album have a different theme, really, and have different genres as well. So if you like rock music, there's a track on there called "Surrounded in Isolation," and the tagline to that is "Surrounded in isolation, together we stand alone," because there are 65 million of us around the world at least, but a vast, huge number of people out of those 65 million feel like the epilepsy experience is unique to them. But of course, it isn't. So that was kind of like the point that I was hammering home with that one, and decided on the title Purple Chorus. The reason for chorus is, again, harking back once more to the 65 million of us. If we speak together, we are a much more powerful sound than if we speak individually. So therefore, we are no longer a solo. We are a chorus.
Absolutely beautiful. I love your thought completely.
Thank you.
Guy, is there one final message that you have for people living with epilepsy?
There is. Let's keep talking. I'm actually doing a talk next week for Advocate Health in the US. And that has always been my message, let's keep talking. Because there are some things that I might know about the epilepsy experience that you don't. There will undoubtedly be things about the epilepsy experience that you know that I don't. And as there are so many of us, we are a really huge melting pot of information out there. And the best way to enlighten each other is by keeping talking. And it doesn't matter whether that speech is verbal, whether that is by creating a painting, by making a dress, by composing a piece of music, but let's keep that communication door open, because it's an ever-evolving world, the world of epilepsy. And so that is my ultimate message, is let's keep talking.
Well, Guy, your music and your digital art is going to be very captivating here for viewers to take a look at. Thank you very much for all that you're doing.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to talk to you.
Hey, Epilepsy Gangster, that's not just a volcano you see getting ready to blow. That's actually an image of your future, because my gang and researchers are going to make you blow your stack. And you're going to get buried in lava once and for all. And for the rest of you, may you be seizure free and God bless you.